Welcome to episode 22 of the ISHAN cast. As always, I'm joined by my dad, and today we're talking about my song Adventure.
And this is going to be an adventure, ISHAN, because I've been very much looking forward to this particular podcast.
Okay.
I find this particular song quite intriguing. And let's start off with that, because I think it's fair to say that this song was probably, from a production standpoint, the most difficult on the album.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about why the song was difficult, what made it difficult through the production process, and what you remember about that?
I think with this song in particular, we had to do a bit of soul searching to find like where it wanted to live on the spectrum of rocky, going towards poppy, and then more acoustic mellow. I've now since released an acoustic version where you can hear there exists a version of this song, or many versions of this song, where you can play it, slower and more acoustically and more mellow. And then equally, the record, has elements of electric guitar and sort of more pop rock drums, and obviously we could have dialed that up another 7 levels. So that was the challenge, and across the album is probably the one that required the most soul searching.
And I remember that the song came back, and you'd been in the studio with the producers, and the sort of I won't say the final, but a fairly final version came back, and there were people on the team that had different perspectives, and it was quite a big talking point. But you went back and redid a lot of that song compared to normal, where you normally have a smoother process, correct?
Yeah, and that's really okay. That's not an issue. It just so happens that a lot of the songs were like I knew what Universe needed to be from the get-go, and so obviously we needed to find that to an extent, but it was not hard to find. And
it was a bit. I remember the first version that came back, there were more sort of big tom drums, and you brought it back a little bit, right?
It was I think maybe tempting to overcook it a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's something I always want to be cautious of in my production, just more generally, is like let's have fun and explore exciting sounds, but let's also make sure that we don't get in the way of the song and the vocal.
Now, I also remember that the way you wrote the song originally, the way it came back from the studio, were a little bit different. So there's the final line of the chorus: "I'll chase good weather to wherever she goes."
I'll chase good weather to wherever she goes.
Now that's how you wrote the song.
That's how I wrote the song.
But
my producers at the time, M Squared, who are awesome, shout out to them, they had a suggestion for me. They were like, we don't really get that line. What if you just drop it, basically, and just go back to the previous line you were singing? I think I'm due for an adventure.
Yeah, so it came back and it would have
gone.
Wherever, so I'll chase good weather.
I'll chase good weather. I think I'm due for an adventure. Yeah, which obviously we tried. And I can understand from a, I don't know, I guess technical perspective, like, okay, you repeat the line of it's the title of the song, go back to that, repeat that as much as you can, as opposed to introducing a somewhat new idea with the very last line.
It wasn't just the words that changed, but it was also the melody. So
the melody had to change. Yeah, different syllables.
Because so to wherever she goes, that was gone.
Ooh, yeah, it was gone.
Yeah,
that was well sung.
Thank you.
Nice.
You get it from somewhere.
As opposed to, whatever. As opposed to, I think I'm due for an adventure. You can't sing the same tune.
Yeah. So
and I think part of the point is, okay, repeat the line, repeat the melody as well.
So do you actually remember how it went?
I think I'm due for an adventure.
But I'll chase good weather. I think I'm due for an adventure. So repeated the thing.
Yeah.
And now when you hear it, in hindsight, it feels quite wrong.
On. It's not in hindsight. I was never thrilled with the idea from the start. But I think that as an exercise, it was great. Like, if these guys are working with me on the song and they have an idea, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's export it. Like you were saying before, it was quite a final version. I don't disagree with you, because with the way that normally things worked, normally going a bit smoother, that would have been a pretty final version. But we tried an idea, and I sat with it for for like 2 weeks, and I came back to the guys and I was like, hey, I love that we tried it, but I got to be honest, it's just not doing it for me. I want to go back. And then we changed it. And so in hindsight, it wasn't that final because we haven't, that was a pretty pivotal, that's an important idea. And, we weren't sure about it. And it turned out that it was not the move.
And how does it feel? I mean, I think at this time when you were recording this, you were 21.
Yeah.
20 or 21 when you were recording it. Obviously, you're working with folks who are, older and have, a fair bit of experience in the music industry. Is it difficult to come back and say, thanks for the idea, we recorded it, but I don't like it, and we're going to go back to something that I originally came up with? Is that easy or difficult?
There was a time where it was very difficult. And I think my first ever experience in a recording studio working with a producer who, again, is much older, much more experienced than me, was it 15 or maybe 16?
15.
And so at that, when I go back to my first experience, that was really difficult for me because I'm a kid and I have no idea how to communicate these ideas that I don't really understand myself. Like I have this thing of like, I'll know it when I hear it, but I don't actually know how to communicate that.
But there's one thing is communicating, right? But the other thing is that sometimes the communication has no rational basis. It's just a feel or an opinion.
No.
Right? You weren't going to convince them that this was a better idea.
And they weren't going to convince me that we should try the thing. It's just they think we should try it, we try it. And then it comes to me and what's the feeling in my gut 2 weeks later when I've given it a chance.
But ultimately as the artist, you make the call.
Yeah. And so I think what has continued to get better is just my confidence, and it goes both ways. My confidence in when I have an idea, speaking up and going, let's try it, and let's just sit with it, and I don't have to justify why I have the idea necessarily. I mean, I can help explain what I want to do, but beyond that, there's no justification needed. Let's try it. We sit with it, whether that's for 5 minutes or 5 days. We sit with it. We give it a chance. And then the other way is when they have an idea, and I felt like, I feel like it worked really well at that stage. So to answer your question, on Adventure, I felt like it worked better than ever before. They have an idea. Immediately when they're like, get rid of that line, I'm like, oh no, that's not the right call. But it might have been. I can't know that. So I look back at that and go, I did a really good thing there. I went, I don't know, let's try it. I sat with it. I was honest and I was open, and I gave it 2 weeks and I was like, you know what, guys, it's just not doing it for me. Let's put it back. And their reaction was, great. Thanks for trying.
Awesome. Okay. So that line to wherever she goes, who is the she? Is it the weather? Is it someone else? I've never quite understood.
So I think, I shouldn't say, I should never say I think. I know. It's my song.
It is.
I tell you why.
If you don't know, then no one else does.
See, okay, hang on. Let's take a side tangent here for just 10 seconds. I say I think because I don't want to cut off the possibility of somebody else making their own interpretation. That's why I say I think, because I don't want to be a tyrant. You can have your own opinion. The girl, for me, is... I'm alluding to this notion that there is a girl involved. So the song, and we should talk about the song more generally. The song is about a guy who is just really burnt out, overworked. He's working himself way too hard. And I can see, I definitely at the time of writing could see myself in that character as well. Obviously, the whole theme of the album was I'm really trying to write about other characters I find interesting. And so, as I have done many times in this album, this character in Adventure definitely mirrored my own kind of situation in many ways. Burnt out, overworked, and just kind of hitting a limit and just needing quite a sharp U-turn and escape.
Yeah.
And so the reason I really enjoy that last line in there is because I like the illusion that there's a girl involved, and it's not clear if it's not clear exactly what the situation is, but it's also this notion of love that's calling him away from this like breaking, or this breaking point of being overworked, and who knows if that means he just has to get away from everything and just go start anew and try and find someone, or if there is someone there. It's not clear, but it's the point of like it's not only is it this notion of freedom is kind of pulling him away, but it's also this feeling of maybe there's love
So
on that journey that follows.
So we're talking now about the meaning of the song.
Yeah.
I hope, by the way, I mean, you won't appreciate just how nimble my interviewing skills are, because I was planning to deal with that later on, and now I'm pulling questions from the end of the interview up earlier.
How good am I, everyone? Just interjecting to let you all know that I'm really good at what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Well, someone has to.
Someone has to.
Given I get absolutely zero praise from you whatsoever.
Just because the fans don't like the job you do, that's not my fault.
Okay.
Just because they come up to me after the shows and they say, "Hey, that guy doing the podcast, you got to get rid of him,
Yes,
sack him."
We've heard that many times.
Yeah.
Not. Okay. So there's a line, and it scares me. What if I get what I want? What if I get what I'm fighting for? I'll win this war. 15 years a soldier broken down.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what that line refers to, because I've always been curious about the notion of the soldier. What if I get what I want? To me, I think it means if you achieve your dreams. But am I interpreting that right?
15 years a soldier broken down, picking up speed as I go.
Sort of. I think that. It's about achieving your dreams at a cost. And so if I take things too far, if you just burn yourself out, you work too hard, if you lose touch with friends along the way, if you lose touch with family, which obviously I'm not doing because of this, silly podcast, there's physical proof that I'm not. But, if there's a physical cost on your body, if there's a toll on the mind, if you spiral into a state of mind that isn't healthy, and by doing so you achieve your dream in strong quotation marks, then do you get to enjoy it? Do you get to enjoy the fruits of that labor? And so, I feel like I talk more and more, even just with friends, about this idea of working to live as opposed to living to work. And I think I don't mind admitting that, or not admitting, but I don't mind being upfront about the fact that I definitely live to work. I love my work. My work is the best. I'm so lucky that I have the work that I have to do. And I don't take it for granted for a second. But I suppose it does kind of set up this dilemma of like, how far do you take that? And at what point am I no longer working for the joy of it? Even in parts, because obviously, there's no free lunch, right? But at what point am I taking it so far that I'm not working for the joy anymore, and I'm just kind of paying the price for no real benefit? And so that's where I feel that's where this notion of the soldier comes in, who's just broken down. The soldier's fighting the war for what? For the hopes and dreams of others. I'm not trying to say that's necessarily a bad thing, but the soldier doesn't get to enjoy the fruits of his labor or her labor personally. The soldier makes a brave sacrifice for the nation, for the army, for the whatever, the broader thing. But then the soldier hopes that they come home and they still have their arms and legs.
Yeah.
Not that they've gone out and had a fruitful, jolly old time.
Yes. Okay. So it's about, is the sacrifice worth it?
Yeah.
I feel as if, without wanting to give too many spoilers away, there's certain elements of that in the theme of album 2 that we'll talk about later on. But we won't talk about that now. We'll get to that when we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, for the listeners, I'll just ask you to rewind about 90 seconds. ISHAN did talk about not losing touch with his family, but then in the song itself, there is a line that says, "And I'll go back home and face my family. Where have you been, and didn't you think to call? Not at all."
Mm.
Then I'll go back home and face my family. Where have you been, and didn't you think to call?
Surely we brought you up better than that. Surely.
This is getting too dad-coded, you guys. Someone help me. Someone get me a new co-host.
It's funny. It's not just.
It's not funny.
It's not just family though. It's also friends.
It's also friends,
right? And you talk a little bit about feeling more disconnected.
No, look, I wouldn't even go that far. It's definitely a projection into the future. It's me looking ahead to this character who part of me, or definitely part of me at the time of writing, felt maybe I was at risk of becoming.
Got it.
So it's, will I, 10 years from now, there's a version of me that, just goes way too far. Just puts everything into music, but not in a healthy way that preserves the individual, the person who, yearns for community and friendship and family, just, in a really dark and negative way, which is to say, an obsession that kind of leads to isolation.
Can we go back to the writing of the song?
Yeah.
Right? And I also want to just go back to the studio and the changes that take place, right? So that falsetto part, what if I get what I want? I'm going to call it a pre-chorus.
It is a pre-chorus.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember that when you wrote it, that pre-chorus was repeated before the second chorus as well. And in the studio, you made the decision to only do it once rather than repeat it.
Yeah.
I would have thought that normally a pre-chorus happens every time before a chorus.
Yeah.
So what was the thinking of taking it out the second time?
I think it's becoming more and more popular, that kind of move in songwriting. Not that I stay up to date with the trends necessarily, but it's something I've heard people talk about before. I guess I just felt with the song, there was enough information. It's what is it, 3 minutes something? There was enough information that I didn't need that part of the song twice, and that was it.
Okay.
It just felt, and then beyond that, it's just like, all right, how do I feel when I have it? And how I feel when I play it the second time around is like, I'm just ready to get to the chorus now.
I remember,
So drop it.
I think we've spoken on previous podcasts about this concept of demoitis.
Yeah.
And, we get to hear the song before you take it into the studio. We get used to the particular version of it. It comes back and things have changed and it feels wrong. I remember that in particular was something that felt quite wrong to me, but then very quickly, I think collectively we're all getting better at dealing with demoitis.
Some of us are getting better than others.
I think the fact that
and for those who are actually, my hand's out of screen, but for those who are just listening and not watching, that was a strong side eye to the co-host over there. Some of us are better at demoitis than others. Some of us still get really hung up on demos that I make in the house.
I think we're actually collectively. I think the whole.
No, we're all getting better.
I think
Everyone's
we are.
getting better.
Just
That's
because
true.
we've gone through it now so many times, we know that what feels wrong today, we sit with it, and it may feel better. That's it. It may
The
not.
first time it happens,
Yeah.
it's like devastating. Like you feel like you just know that you're right and the original is better, and you know it like you've never known anything in your whole life.
Correct.
And over time, it's like you have that feeling 300 times, and 300 times, 170 of those or 220 of those you've been wrong.
You just learn.
Eventually, it takes longer than you think, but eventually your brain goes, hang on.
I've seen this movie. I've seen this movie before.
There's a pattern here.
Yeah.
And then we all just learn to take a deep breath and wait.
Now, another thing in terms of the writing.
Yeah.
Until my head hurts, till I can feel my head hurt.
Yeah.
That wasn't how it was originally written, was it?
What came first? No, I think you're right. That was the change.
Right.
That was not the original.
Do you want to talk about the original?
Yeah, it was till my effing head hurts. I think I always check the under 18 is okay. Like we don't swear
Yeah.
on the podcast, so I'll maintain that status.
I won't. So it's until my head hurts.
Okay.
Until my head hurts. So you actually like.
All right.
I just went there,
Okay.
but that was the original lyric,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it
and,
was.
and the point was that you would like smash it out in a live performance.
That wasn't the point of it.
But it was part of the.
It was part of what happened. It was,
Yes, yeah.
But I still do. I don't think it changed. See, I don't think it changes the energy of the song fundamentally. I really don't. I think I play it with the same intensity. I think that, I don't know. It's like, it's always a bit giggly to swear sometimes, So it maybe it loses a bit of a cheeky thing with some of the fans where they're all grinning and we've all said the F words together. But
But do most fans know that was the original? I don't think.
no, probably not.
Yeah,
I don't think some do. Some I know some Melbourne fans who have heard it bust Genesis. No, not busking.
You can't swear by busking.
Can't
that's
swear
right.
by busking, obviously. Maybe heard it at gigs.
Correct. I think that's right.
Before it came out.
I think some Melbourne fans might know, but I think fans outside of Melbourne probably wouldn't know. That was the original lyric.
Hang on, but I've continued to do it live.
Okay, so I was going to
ask.
As a change-up, right.
Definitely this past Europe tour, I did it as a change-up, and it's fun. And like, even if you didn't know that was the lyric, I like it's pretty obvious. It's pretty right there as a change-up. Like, I don't think anyone was sort of confused by it. It's like, oh, this is cool. This is like a different version, slightly different version for live.
Got it. Okay. The music video.
Yes.
Now, unusually, this was crowdsourced.
First part fan-made music video.
So what was the idea, the genesis?
I should say lyric video. It was a lyric video.
Okay, got it.
What was the genesis? I think I'd probably, in the months prior, just seen a bunch of really cool fan-made music content. And I was like, I should do that. That's so cool. And then, this was the idea that I had. It was like, and it's right there. It's not very subtle. The song is about going on an adventure. Send me footage of your adventures. And so I put the call out on Discord. Shout out to the Discord. I think I put, again, like a similar thing on my Instagram story and was like, hey, just send me stuff. And, I wasn't able to use everything that was sent, but I feel like I used a lot of it, which was great. And then I cut that. I cut between the crowdsourced footage, the fan footage, and a bunch of like BTS, like behind the scenes vlogs / clips from my India trip, which was my probably most recent adventure at the time, which was big for me.
So I have two things to say about the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is that I was really nervous that you wouldn't get any videos back, right?
That's fair enough.
And probably
First time doing it.
Also, given that I'm not the demographic, the idea of sending content,
I can see that. I
right,
get that.
So younger fans probably find it not a big deal to do this. To me, that's fairly daunting. So I was like thrilled that you got some really cool pieces of footage, and it just made it feel like a real community getting involved. Your fan your fan base as a community.
Yeah.
On the Discord you mentioned, I just thought it was. I think the word you might use is wholesome. It was just really cool.
It was, yeah. It was. That's exactly the word I would use. It was very wholesome. Yeah.
And then the second thing is that there are a number of a couple of little clips there that look like adventures from fans, but actually they're adventures of yours when you were younger, right? So there's a couple of little ISHAN clips in there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if the fans who know the video actually.
No, I don't think I've spoken about that.
There are a couple of little mini ISHANs in there.
Were they mini? How many?
There's one of you in Spain with your mum at the festival where you're wearing sunglasses.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Quite many.
Going down the little the toboggan chute on the mountain in Switzerland.
That's right, yeah. Because I asked you guys, I was like, it'd be fun to put some like younger stuff in there.
Yeah. On the donut in the water.
Yeah.
There are a couple of even and probably people don't know this. Even the skiing shot, right? There's a guy flying down the mountain. That's you as well.
That was me. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple of personal adventures in there as well. Final question. We've talked about this song from a live perspective. Mm-hmm. It just comes across that you love playing this one live. It seems to give you a lot of energy. Is that right? And if so, what is it about the song that you really enjoy live?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's definitely one of my favorite ones to play. I suppose it's got a great energy. It's kind of, is bashful the right word? Like it's fun and it's hard hitting, and it's got a cool positive energy, but still like an edge to it. And then people yell it back, which obviously like that's not the whole thing. Obviously, it's like there's something intrinsic about the song that I love playing that one live. But also on top of that, as the cherry is like also the fans yell it back. So there's definitely something magic about that one.
And that's something that I notice standing backstage or filming, as I do it sometimes at your gigs, that one, probably Her Boyfriend's House is another one. Yeah. Obviously My Mouth, but there are certain songs certain
songs you can scream. I mean, it would be almost weird if people screamed the words to a song for my brother with the same gleefulness and intensity. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but a very much a super positive energy song. Interestingly, there was a lot of doubt about the song when it first came back?
Oh yeah,
right.
Not from me. I always knew it was a banger. No, I think I think some of the team, maybe the managers, were like, oh, we're not like 100% sure about this one. I think the prevailing sentiment, even the producers at the time, were like, we're not 100% sure. I think the prevailing sentiment being that, and I say this with all the love in the world, because ultimately it doesn't matter what people say. Like it's for me to figure it out. So it really doesn't matter. There's no negativity, but the sentiment was, you make great pop songs and, you know, more modern commercial singer-songwriter acoustic pop. And, you know, we love when we can hear your voice and it's more isolated and there's the production simpler and it's less rocky. And maybe this direction that this song is kind of going down, and this is, like I said, it's the soul searching, because it's not like 100%. It's not a rock song, but it is stepping further down that path than any other song on the album. This direction, we don't feel that that's the direction for you. We don't feel that's sort of playing to your strengths, which is that's feedback. I didn't agree with it at the time. I don't necessarily agree with it now, but that's okay. I think we spoke about this on the previous episode of the podcast. You asked me about, how do you... the question was about like commercial songs versus ones that maybe don't have the same appeal, because, you know, we could talk about like Characters I Drew, when you compare that to My Mouth, is not necessarily having the same broad appeal. And I think I was just talking about having balance, and I think it's the same thing with this question of like genres, and how do you strike a balance between like the most like clean cut pop song that is going to appeal to everyone and make everyone happy and everyone high five each other, and then doing things that are a bit more left of field. I'm not a rock artist, but I like certain rock songs, and I think the answer is just have balance and just pick good songs.
I think one of the things that the fans really appreciate and love about your music is it's not one dimensional. There's obviously some common traits around storytelling, and, you know, I don't think you'll ever lose that singer-songwriter component.
It's the center, but I like to expand out from the center.
And I think that as you continue your career and experience more and write more and explore more, fans are going to hear, even that strong center absolutely being maintained, but more experimentation at the margins. I think that's very exciting.
Yeah. I think so too. I think that all the songs I already made them. So there's so much left to explore, and that's kind of what I want to spend my time doing.
Well, thanks once again for adventure. As I said, I love listening to this song live. I love it on the record, but when I'm on one of your gigs, this is one of my absolute favorites. There's such an energy for it, and I'm really glad that despite the difficulties around production and the various opinions coming through, that you stuck to your guns and
we kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. All right. Thanks, everyone, and we will see you back for another episode very soon.